Our long national nightmare of institutionalized wokesterism may be far from over, but from time to time one can be forgiven for thinking that things might, possibly, mercifully, be trending in a favorable direction. And when do we most often find ourselves thinking that way? Well, for me, it's when yet another major national consumer brand has reduced itself to a flaming dumpster fire of fiduciary catastrophe and bumbling public relations incoherence because they decided to get woke and go broke. And so Thursday morning brought us the news that after about half a decade of bizarrely self-destructive woke marketing, Victoria's Secret has decided to wean itself off the woke, to go through all the tremors and convulsions that come with the territory when you decide to get back onto the straight and narrow path and quit drinking the sweet, sweet nectar of corporate identity politics. Why have they made this move, you ask? Well, because they are hemorrhaging many billions of dollars per quarter, and the shareholders, they are well and truly pissed. As you might imagine they are. Now, did Victoria's Secret customers ever go clamoring for ad campaigns featuring morbidly obese women and transvestite men modeling the ladies' lingerie? No, they did not. In fact, nobody seemed to have any problem with Victoria's Secret, a company whose whole existence predicates itself on selling sexy ladies' undergarments, taking a marketing approach that featured sexy ladies in undergarments. Now, from a marketing perspective, working at Victoria's Secret should be just about as easy as a job gets, shouldn't it? You've got such a strong brand identity in place that millions upon millions of women will pay $130 for one of your bras without even thinking twice about it. And why do they do that? Is it because the bras are really good bras? Well, sure. At least that's what I'm told. But it's also because that brand spent many decades making itself into a brand where when you say their name, the only thing you think of is a beautiful woman wearing sexy underthings. When you have a brand identity like that, the last thing you ever do is cause it to become compromised. At least that's the way things used to work in the world of corporate marketing. Before the dark times, before the woke empire, before the advent of a world where every marketing executive thinks of him or herself as a social justice activist first and an employee of their employer second, maybe third. A world where amorphous, undefinable terms like diversity and inclusion and representation and body positivity ate everyone's brain and rendered them incapable of doing non-idiotic things. A world where you're not allowed to like pictures of hot women in bras and panties, chemises and bustiers, teddies and garters. I think I've used up my whole supply of lingerie terms that I know. No, damn it! You should be ashamed of yourself for liking hot women in underwear. Because how do you think that makes fat women feel, you body shamer? How do you think that makes cross-dressers feel, you transphobe? Here at Victoria's Secret, we've had just about enough of your damn fool bigotry. You should be ashamed of yourself for having spent all those years ogling those gorgeous underwear models that we told you to ogle. And with that in mind, we're canceling all of our fashion shows and TV specials, and from this moment henceforth, our print advertising campaigns will feature only strong, powerful women of color who weigh enough to play outside linebacker in the National Football League because they are stunning and brave. And we'll have some dudes too. Trans women. Because if you can't look at Lizzo and Sam Britton and get just as turned on as you used to get by Heidi Klum, then we have not succeeded in fixing your bigotry. Oh, also, keep buying our products, and we'll keep lecturing you about what a terrible person you are, because that's just how this works. But that really happened, because the woke mind virus is one hell of a drug. It consumes every scrap of common sense that gets placed in its path. There actually was a meeting at Victoria's Secret HQ 5 years ago, give or take, where some lonely, unmarried, childless, borderline alcoholic spinster marketing executive, the kind of woman who would have watched She-Hulk and thought it was a good show, she stood up and said, "You know what our lingerie company needs to do? We need to get rid of all the hot chicks." And instead of falling down laughing, the board of directors, they all said, well, yes, what an intriguing possibility. Dudes and fat chicks instead of beautiful women. Why, it's positively visionary in its boldness. Young lady, we're giving you a $600,000 bonus. But it's a mistake to conclude that this is any sort of isolated phenomenon, because it's part of a much larger project that's been going on for many decades now, since very shortly after George Orwell wrote his famous passage in which he talked about Big Brother, that he could make people believe up is down, black is white, war is peace, right is wrong, wrong is right, and so on. The idea that ugliness is beautiful and unhealthiness is healthy plays right into that same madness. And the obverse of that idea as well, that if you enjoy nice paintings and good sculptures and pretty buildings and hot women in skimpy underwear, well, that just means you are an ignorant, uncultured rube. All the modern artists and architects will chuckle at you for being so indescribably gauche. But somebody somewhere has to stand up for the beautiful and the edifying and the inspirational, and the best way of doing that is not giving your goddamn money to companies that try to make you celebrate ugliness and brutality. Even if it means buying a bra that is slightly less comfortable. So let's all give the ladies a round of applause, shall we? They have voted with their boobs, they have made their voices heard, and they have brought about positive change in the world, and I think that's pretty damned inspiring. From high atop the battlements of Castle Curmudgeon, where voting with your boobs is legal, and we've got a 10-year waiting list for ballot harvesters for some reason. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all ships at sea. Welcome to the program. I'm your eponymous host and humble servant. And you know what my favorite thing about the fake news media is? That they think they still have any business getting offended about being called fake news. Because, seriously, guys, how many years does a creature have to walk like a duck and quack like a duck before it forfeits the right to get butthurt about people saying it looks like a damn duck? Now, if you're one of the 10 or 12 people remaining in the country who think our legacy news media are anything but a disgusting muck-raking sausage factory of lies, damned lies, and more damned lies, and the last 36 to 48 hours haven't disabused you of that quaint belief, then you just can't be convinced, or you don't want to be convinced, because at a certain point this stuff really starts to strain the credulity of reasonable men. At a certain point it has to be said, maybe you know perfectly well you're being lied to, but you don't care because you like the lies. The lies are just the sort of lies you wish to have fed into your eager waiting ear. Lies that confirm all your priors and reinforce all your pre-existing biases and prejudices. On Wednesday morning, you may have awoken, as many of us did, to wall-to-wall headlines from the mainstream fake news media proclaiming, Israel bombs Palestinian hospital, 500 dead! And oh boy, were they all singing from the same page in the hymn book. We haven't seen that same kind of hand-in-glove coordination from these bastards since that Saturday in November of 2020, when they all miraculously declared and decided within 5 minutes of each other that Joe Biden won the election. It was the most secure election in the history of history, and anybody who questions the sanctity of this most immaculate of election results is a dirty, filthy insurrectionist, probably a stooge for Putin. I'm just saying. Now, there's not really much point in listing all the legacy news outlets who uncritically published this very obvious Hamas lie about Israel attacking a hospital, because it is all of them. Every one of them ran it. And I'm not going to say they fell for it. I'm not going to say they did some really lazy reporting. I'm not going to say they got taken in by a hoax, because we need to stop giving these liars the benefit of the doubt. That they're trying in good faith to do real journalism, that they just really suck at it, when that's so obviously not the case. That dog ain't gonna hunt anymore. These are not inept journalists. These are liars. They lie consciously, intentionally, purposefully, because they like the lie. And they think if they beat you over the head with the lie a sufficient number of times, you'll believe it too. And the worldview they seek to advance by the propagating of the lie is thus duly advanced. There was not a single major legacy news outlet, not a cable channel, not a broadcast network, not a newspaper, not a pamphlet that didn't run some version of that headline. That a Palestinian hospital done got blowed up. It was the evil, dastardly Israelis that did it. You know, because the Israeli state has so very much to gain by rocketing a frickin' hospital. Such a sensible tactical move. Should we go in and take the tunnel system, sir? No, not yet. Let's blow up a hospital first, just to show how evil we are. And there are a few members of Congress, I won't say their names because you know exactly who they are, who sure as shit didn't wait for any investigation before they started firing off their blubbery Twitter tweets about what an awful bunch of hospital-destroying assholes those Israelis are. It became abundantly clear within just an hour, less than 2 hours, that no, the Israeli Defense Forces are not blowing up hospitals just for fun. They didn't have anything to do with this particular explosion. There's 3 different kinds of real-world data showing as conclusively as it can be shown that this was a terrorist rocket that hit the hospital. And back to the previous point, I'm not going to give these assholes the benefit of the doubt by assuming this was an accident. It very likely may not have been, because blowing up one of their own hospitals and then pointing the finger at Israel, knowing the Western fake news media will uncritically print whatever ridiculous claim they make, is exactly the sort of thing Hamas would do and has been doing throughout its entire existence. In fact, if they had armed men outside the front door of the hospital liquidating any civilians who tried to flee the building before they could blow it up, it would be perfectly in keeping with Hamas's previous behavioral track record. Killing their own people on purpose is a big part of how they wage the particular brand of asymmetric warfare that they so enjoy waging. Why do you think they've stationed soldiers on the Egypt border and the Lebanon border, and they're not allowing anybody to leave Gaza? Because they want those people killed. Pictures of dead Palestinians are great for business. Pictures of dead Palestinians advance our political goals. People in the West, American liberals in particularly, they suffer from this weird condition where they assume everybody else in the world values human life just as much as we do. Even when the world is overflowing with sick bastards who show us regularly in no uncertain terms that they don't give 2 squirts of piss about any human life. Hamas's leaders in particular, they don't pretend about any of this stuff. They will look you square in the eye and say right on the record, no, of course we don't care about our people getting killed. Are you high? But even though they are perfectly honest and forthright about who and what they are, you still get idiot Western liberal douchebags who think we can fix it all, well, just by displaying more tolerance and sensitivity and developing a deeper understanding of the political grievances that are at issue, which is just so very precious. Because do you think any present-day Hamas terrorist, or Hezbollah terrorist, or Islamic Jihad terrorist has a deep and well-developed understanding of why they hate Israel? Of course they don't. The whole reason you raise generations of children, steeping them in the broth of ethnic grievance and blood libel from their very earliest memories, is so you don't have to teach them anything about the last 1,300 years of Jewish-Islamic relations. Because, spoiler alert, when you spent your early childhood at home watching cartoons about how blowing up Jews is the only worthwhile thing you can ever do with your life, and then you went to a school where they taught you that blowing up Jews is the only worthwhile thing you can ever do with your life, when every authority figure you have ever heard or met or encountered has told you that blowing up Jews is the only worthwhile thing you can ever do with your life, when you arrive at young male adulthood, you're not going to be burning with any intellectual desire to read lots of books and develop a nuanced understanding of the history of Middle Eastern ecumenicalism. You're going to be burning with the desire to blow up Jews. And you're not going to have many other desires because you've been born and bred and raised to do one thing and one thing only, and to care about one thing and one thing only. And if you met some dumb American liberal who was wearing a Free Palestine t-shirt who said he wanted to understand and appreciate your political grievances, you would kill that fucker and mount his head on a spike. Because let's call things what they are. There is no political solution here. There is no bright, optimistic future where there's a 2-state solution and everybody lives in mutual respect and the region is pacified in perpetuity. If the region is to be pacified, it's going to require killing a hell of a lot of evil terrorist sons of bitches and doing it with extreme prejudice. But does the West even want that? I mean, do they want a pacified Middle East? Because I'm not so sure they do. I think there are many Western leaders who find the current status quo politically convenient and would just as soon not change anything about it. And I think, frankly, there's a lot of anti-Semites in politics and media alike who enjoy having the Palestinians as a little mascot that they can hide behind. That gives them political cover to say whatever they want about Israel and still be insulated from any charges of anti-Semitism. Did I think there was this much anti-Semitism on the American left in the third decade of the 21st century? Frankly, no. I did not. I'm actually kind of blown away by the whole thing, really. Did I expect to ever see a day when there'd be a dozen hooray for terrorism events on the campuses of American universities? I did not. And even with as dim a view as I already had of the legacy fake news media, did I expect to ever see their whole industry falling all over itself to knowingly report an obvious lie just because it gave them a chance to write an anti-Israel headline? I did not. Now you might be asking, surely, once there was verified confirmation that Israel didn't do this thing, those outlets all issued retractions, didn't they? Nope, they did not. And don't call me Shirley. The fact of the matter is, in the brave new world of dicks for clicks, internet fake news, retractions just aren't done anymore. Okay, they're done occasionally. Once in a great while, like when the New York Times waited for a year and a half and then wrote in little tiny print on page A38, okay, maybe that really was Hunter Biden's laptop. Also, we hate the Jews. But you see, in the brave new world of dicks for clicks, internet fake news, a salaciously dishonest headline is often the only thing you've got. So if you're one of the masters of the art form, like the aforementioned New York Times, you come up with a gem of a headline like this: Israelis strike hospital and kill 500, Palestinians say. Now, of course you knew it was a bald-faced lie when you posted it, but those clicks, damn it, those clicks are forever. No takebacks on those delicious clicks. So you blast out a headline that's a complete farcical lie, and you put the half-hearted qualifier after the comma. So most people won't even see it on their little tiny phone screen. The Israelis blew up a hospital. I'm outraged! And this confirms all my priors. I must click on this news story at once. So in other words, some asshole from Hamas calls up the New York Times. He says, yeah, Israel just blew up our hospital. 500 dead. It's terrible. Pass it on. And the Times says, yep, that's good enough for us. Just maybe don't put it in the headline that it was Hamas we got the information from. Maybe put Palestinians instead. That sounds vaguely official, doesn't it? But as it happened, much of Wednesday was spent with these idiotic fake news sludge factories slowly sort of revising and walking back their clickbait headlines. I think the Times edited theirs about half a dozen times or so. It wound up going all the way from Israeli attack on hospital kills 500, Palestinians say, to Hamas blames hospital strike on Israel, death toll unknown. So even when they knew they were lying in the first place, even after they had been caught lying, even after their entire premise was well and truly and thoroughly debunked, they still kept alive that faint little flicker of a flame of possible Israeli culpability. Thank God we have a newspaper of record to help us discern truth from falsehood. Also, if we've learned anything from this latest incident, it's that the New York Times, they don't like the Jews any more today than they did back in the 30s when they were running all those fawning puff piece articles about what an awesome guy Adolf Hitler was. But it's like I always say, when a guy shows you exactly who he is, go ahead and believe him. Thanks very much indeed for watching. Have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Be sure and tune in for the Blast Radius Sunday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. See you next time. Do not comply. Get off my lawn!